Hey, what's up, YouTube family? It is K-Rod here. Back at it with another video for y'all today. I got some Call of Duty running in the background. Wanted to give a shout out to the YouTuber No Annoying Commentary, for his video that I'll be commentating over. But also check him out. I really love his gameplay. He has some really good gameplay clips, and I definitely like watching him play, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and plenty of other games. So yeah, I got like my little political video that I wanted to kind of talk about. Uh, this is a conversation that I had with Libertarian Scott. That being Scott McKelvey or Libertarian View Scotty M. He has like different names that he goes by, but I wanted to give my take on the issues of the welfare state and why the welfare state is evil and creates degenerate failures of human society. But before I do that, be sure to hit the like button, do what you got to do, and I will give my take on this. So, all right. Yep, I appreciate anybody that comes out to support the video. So yeah, let's talk about it, man. I'm gonna give my whole take on how I believe the welfare state is and why it should be destroyed and taken away. I would say it doesn't matter what race you are or any type of creed. I think, in terms of like my beliefs of who I am as a libertarian, I think it's wrong and immoral to steal money from people that choose not to pay for certain things that you did not consent for. And I think what people don't understand is that the degeneracy that comes with it, with stealing other people's wealth to redistribute money into something that people never asked for, is a very disgusting way of producing a rule by degenerates lifestyle. And therefore, it's very immoral and it's Kritarchish in a way, where basically, like, what I mean by Kritarchy is like a rule by judges type of a scenario. And what I tend to really see is that a lot of idiots like to be very degenerate, to think that they must judge your life and they must control you because they feel entitled to your higher standard of living. So they don't care how much money you have. They don't care how much success you have. You must give back to quote unquote society as if society matters. And I find that to be the most dumbest thing ever to say. But it's a very delusional claim to make, because when you say that society must give back to the poor, society must give back to all these people. Who are these people that are poor? Who are these people that are asking for handouts that I need to give back to? And also, why do I need to have like my money stolen for it? Why can't I voluntarily provide to those people? Because those people that claim to say, "Oh, I'm a single mother, blah blah blah. I need to have this, I need to have that." No, you don't. You don't need to have that. Because you want to know why? It creates a violent, degenerate mindset to say you must steal from the middle class and the poor, along with the rich that don't have an obligation to give you that money. It's like the whole argument of the fisherman argument. And the fisherman argument is stated that if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he eats forever. But if you don't teach a man all the way, wait, hold on, give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. So yeah, basically what I said is like, if you don't teach a man all the way how to properly fish, to know what to do, then he's sometimes going to eat, every other day. So, like, the whole axiomatic variable behind that is that people that are taught to think something is going to be given to them without working hard for it creates a very delusional mindset to be indiscriminate and very selfish. But it's not the type of selfishness that you see out of your typical person that is to be successful and they want to be greedy in their own manner, which I'm probably going to talk about why greed is good and important within any successful, first class civilization. But I'll talk about that in another day for a video. Um, the whole thing about what I said right there is that you should have the means to sustain yourself however you want. For people that want to be psychotically selfish, to be entitled to your belongings and to your capital and to your wealth, those people are evil in nature. When you are choosing to be lazy and you're choosing to live a lifestyle to be reliant off of other people's money, that creates a violent mindset where people don't want to associate with other people that choose to ruin their lives economically. And when you have that put in place, you create a very dreadful effect where people don't want to associate with others and they want to violently divide away from those people. And people may say, well, no, if you're doing that, you're just a bad person overall. You just don't want to help out society and help out the poor and needy and blah blah blah. And that's not to be the case. It's just that for people that are poor, I get it. People live a hard life, but you're not entitled to somebody else's money to tell them they need to give you free shit because you are not able to provide for yourself because you decide to waste your money however you want to. Like, I get it. Some people just don't have good spending skills. And I think, like, especially in America, when you see a lot of these garbage communities are that are choosing to be poor rather than investing their money, I could just say cities like Detroit, Michigan, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Chicago, Illinois, Stockton, California, Compton, California. I mean, San Antonio, Texas. I mean, all these crappy cities that are infested with a lot of trash political policies that hold people down through the welfare state creates a very violent barbaric culture where people don't have incentive to even help each other out. They're thinking more about how much money do I want to advocate for stealing through the government to redistribute more money where everybody has to suffer more. And there's no proper change to help the middle class grow, nor help people become rich to even empower more upper class, people. It's always lower class need help, but we need to steal from the lower, along with stealing from the middle class and rich to make everybody poor. And it's like, that's just a trash mindset to think like that. But it's just like, in America, it's just like, it's not effective, but it's really barbaric to the point where people are so disingenuous and so stupid with how they think because they think that the average person is just a dummy and nobody's not smart enough to be their own boss, to run their own company and actually, chase their entrepreneurial goals. And I think honestly the reason why so many Americans think like this is because there's way too many people that choose to be how should I say, they choose to be the worst of the worst people and they don't want to improve themselves because they're too lazy to get up to a proper level of a success. So they rather trash on other people's success to say, well, this person is blah, blah, blah successful because they're too privileged to be up here. But that's clearly not true because it's like people that had worked their butts off to get to where they're at, they started from nothing. They were not that successful coming out. I can name you so many business entrepreneurs in America that started from nothing. And guess what? Look at where they are today. I mean, I could even use like one of like my favorite entrepreneurs that I like Sander Spooner. He came from nothing. He didn't come from all the greatest family. Like he didn't come from the greatest family growing up, but his mindset as an individual of like where he led himself to think that things were okay were not okay. Like when he saw certain issues, in the US that led him to go against USPS that was not treating people okay with the distribution of mail being monopolized, and he came up with his idea of the American Letter Mail Company to dispute against the federal government that hated his competition of creating his own market and actually doing better than USPS and selling mail a lot cheaper and more cost efficient made him a bigger hero for the communities that did stick up for him. But yet it led to, obviously the US government trying to outlaw, his idea of his own company where he can't, have mail being distributed with his own competition and, them having to hold monopoly over it, which, to this day, I'm sure Lysander Spooner's idea can easily come back. And, if USPS was to be destroyed, where they were never to be a thing, yeah, everybody would live a much better life having better free market alternatives to mailing companies, and USPS would not be a thing, being $60 billion in debt, and also having to suffer being, dirt broken poor. So, I mean, I'm just saying that, but that's just how I look at it for the welfare state, because there's so much corruption that people don't tend to even talk about, but they're so stupid to say it's fine, because it's like everybody else just needs help. Everybody needs social security. People need child support. People need this. People need that. And I'm like, why do they need this? Why do these people need to force other people to be robbed of their own money for something that can be funded voluntarily? I mean, I don't think child support is something that should be a voluntary thing offered in the market. If you want to help women out that are suffering, a woman does not need to be forcing a man of his own income to be paying her something that is not supplemental income all the time. Because what if that man goes out of his way to try to hurt her, and then she ends up dying, and then she ends up losing the child support? Or what if he just ends up finding a way to never pay her at all, to say, hey, I'm broken poor and I'm never going to pay this back? Or if they choose not to pay it back, what, you're gonna just have the police go after them and make it more harder for, for the man to live, therefore giving him a reason to use a violent retaliation up against you? It's just it's just like a never-ending cycle of pure violence and pure degenerate behavior, because what's happening in America is that the dumber younger population thinks that the more socialism that is applied to the nation, the better everything will be, and everybody will just be happily ever after. Because even though I am getting old, like I am 30 years old, but I'm not getting close to old man age. But when I do hit that age of like 65, if I make it, am I gonna see Social Security? Am I gonna see all this in front of me? I don't know. But why the hell am I being taxed for it when I have like my grandparents, or anybody that I care for, that I have to take care of in the future? They're gonna be getting that before me, and I don't know how much of that money is that's going, that's gonna be taxed out of me. That's gonna be there for me to see. So that I say, like, no, the welfare state needs to be eliminated, because there's so much, destruction that's destroying the US economy that people don't see. And all these broken ass families that raise these trash children that end up becoming thugs and criminals are ruining that progress for people to grow and actually raise effective families, so you could actually have like a really strong network of family members to help each other out when things are tough. Truth is like, I am like a pure, anti-state, anarchist per se, but I am like a libertarian ANCAP, but I don't really harp too much over it, because I'm not like, I don't promote this channel for it. But every now and then, when you see me talk with like libertarian Scott, I will bring up like my ideas and what I believe in, and I think I am right about what I say, but I don't harp over it. I don't talk like a broken record to make you believe in what I say. If I believe in something that I believe in, that's just how I believe in it. But for the most part, I don't really think too much about it, because granted, libertarianism is quote unquote not the philosophy that everybody believes in, and I guess it won't be in my lifetime to see it, but uh, I don't think that's really to be the case. The world itself is naturally libertarian, anarchic within nature. So the only thing is that the political philosophies that are corrupted today are ruining people's mindset to be brainwashed. So they think in a stupid way to think that everybody must be subservient to each other. Therefore, we must treat each other a certain way because statism has conditioned people's mindset to think that doing good things with the government means that you're helping people out, but in reality, you're just hurting people and basically hurting people's lives. So that's just how it is. Like, there's nothing good about it, but that's just how I see it. You know, you don't do good things by stealing people's wealth and pointing guns at innocent people. There's nothing good about taking people's money away and having to use that money to support somebody else's, you know, like somebody else's immoral behavior, to think that it's okay to steal somebody's wealth for the sake of giving it to somebody else that's needy. But on top of that, did that person choose the right person to be with? Was that person a good person to begin with? No. It creates a very degenerate mindset where you have future criminals being brought up through separated families, where you have fatherless communities, you have broken women that are probably going to end up losing their children because their children are going to be subjugated to crime. So, it's like, it's just like a never ending cycle. There's never something. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. So, yeah, there's never something good about bringing a successful generation by stealing people's wealth through a welfare state. All welfare states create degenerate populations of younger children that are broken. They're very stupid. They engage in very feminine, like matriarchal behaviors where they don't have a proper maturity to actually think about what they're doing and actually have some sort of fucking, like, what, some fucking control with their mental fortitude. So I think that's like my major issue with that. You have too many broken retards that go out of their way to think it's okay to, yeah, like it's okay to do stuff like that. But I will say the better way to eliminate this is to get rid of all the welfare state parameters that are making people think like this all the time. And I think when you start to see that government encroachment to be done, then people will start to be more heavily responsible to have better futures to achieve. And, that the status counterpart is not going to be there when people have more access to jobs where markets are able to thrive better and people can create their own enterprises to help their people out. But that's just my thoughts. I think like that should be like the right way to go. But also on top of that, I could really see some dark means of like how the solution is to be met, where government violence has to be implied more, where people start to see the picture, and then people will start to have to be more reactive against the state, where there needs to be better means to fix people's struggles. And then I say when people decentralize to help those communities that need to stick up for one another, I think that's where people will be better. But I think division would have to be there in order to be successful, because having to be with communities that are choosing to be degenerate, and then they're creating those bad children that are going to just end up being thugs, and then they end up being with the next person up just to risk their life for nothing. It's pretty much just like a never ending cycle of them creating like the next sacrificing lamb of just dumb, ignorant, people. So I think that's just pretty much at the that's like the double-edged sword that would be met with destroying the welfare state, where people have to see the violence in front of them to understand, or the education alone will start getting people to divide and actually ostracize those that choose to be ignorant and they don't want to change. But when that change does happen, then I do think life will be better. There's definitely, greater opportunities that people can achieve at greater expectations past societies that are trying to steal people's income to hold them back. And I think, it starts with individualism and killing off collectivism completely, where man is self reliant. And when man is purely self reliant, then he will succeed, as you will see within certain men in the world that are successful, that have successful families, they have sustainable fathers, and they're very strong and very responsibly focused. So I think like that's what makes a better worldview as far as my beliefs go, because I think that's already there. It's just that people have uh, barriers they can't seem to answer because they're too broken and too they're too ignorant where things are at until they start to see the light. So they're covered in darkness because they're blinded within their false sense of reality. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. I wanted to give like my little take on that about the U.S. welfare state. I mean, it's naturally evil. I think it's pretty much clear as day to show that there's a lot of negativity that hurts people's lives, and it's designed to take people out of being productive and actually producing stable families. Like, I mean, even though Lyndon Baines Johnson like added it to his great society plan, it's not a great society. It's a very dreadful society where people suffer and people don't live a good life. It's a very broken third world driven mindset to hold people back and make people subservient to barbaric denigration, and to hold people to a standard where people can't be successful. Everybody must steal from each other, and it's okay to be a criminal on your worst days, and people should be able to forgive them, as if criminals should just be running around doing bad things every single day. So yeah, I'm not with that. I'd like to see that eradicated. So yeah, that's my whole take, man. So I'll see you guys later. I got more videos coming out, but I wanted to give like my little TED talk on that. So I'll see you guys. Peace out. Peace, love, liberty, happiness. I'll see you guys later. Peace.